Hello and a very warm welcome. 2021 season ratings as we rate all 20 drivers out of 10 for their season. The same as driver ratings, but this is for the whole season. So we're going to go down all 10 drivers and give them a rating out of 10 for their 2021 season. We give a detailed mark. And let's go. Lewis Hamilton, 10. Yeah. Outstanding season. Also, we cover a high and a low. So Lewis Hamilton's high was getting 100 wins, and Brazil, where he came through the field with a load of penalties. His low was Baku when he hit the magic button and Max was out of the race. A big chance to gain 18 points, and that could have been title deciding. He was part of the title showdown, best Formula One season in years, 8 wins, over 100 wins in his career, a classy champion, and shook the hand of Max. So yeah, he gave it absolutely everything and he deserves 10. Valtteri Bottas, 5. Valtteri's high was winning at Turkey, his low was getting dropped. Valtteri Bottas had a very average 2021 season. He never fights for a title. He never gets close. He's won at Turkey. And he's like over 160 points off his teammate. It's just not acceptable. I think his Mercedes career has been quite poor. I mean, he's averaging 2 wins a season. It's not good enough. Inconsistent. And the big problem with Bottas is he can't come through the field. Where Lewis Hamilton showed Brazil you can come through the field, Bottas gets stuck. Max, 10. The 2021 world champion is his high and his dominant drive at Zandvoort. His low point was the Baku tyre failure. 10 wins, a deserving champion. He broke the record for podiums, 18 in one season, and the first Dutch champion in Formula One. And that will be the first title of many. Sergio Perez, 5. His high was winning at Baku and his podium at Mexico. His low was, probably Zandvoort qualifying. That was a big low where he got knocked out in Q1. Sergio Perez, a first season at Red Bull, it was very average. Very average indeed. 200 points off Max says everything you need to know. He got 4th in the drivers, but he needs to improve vastly in 2022. He had a great Abu Dhabi where he held up Lewis, but needs to improve for me. Very up and down season. Charles Leclerc, 9. His high was Silverstone and a pole position at Monaco. His low point was not starting the Monaco Grand Prix as he crashed and damaged a car in quali, and he didn't start the race. He's had a very solid season, Charles Leclerc, but the Ferrari's team is based around him, and Carlos Sainz beat him. And he finished 7th in the drivers. Carlos Sainz, 10, and arguably the driver of the season. His highlight was Monaco, where he finished 2nd, and the low point was France, where Ferrari were non-existent and had no pace. Out of all the drivers who went to new teams, Carlos Sainz adapted the best to his new machinery. What a season as he finishes with 4 podiums and he finishes 5th in the drivers, ahead of more experienced teammate Carlos Sainz when it comes to Ferrari. I think for a first season at a new team, I think you can't ask for any much more. He finished best of the rest in the championship. Outstanding. Lando Norris, 9. His high was the pole position at Russia, but his low point was also Russia, where he should have won the race. And he stayed out, gambled, it didn't pay off. 4 podiums, finished 6th in the drivers. Driver of the season, but after Russia, he tailed off, so you can't give him driver of the season. The Russia performance where he should have won, it definitely affected him for the rest of the season. He's really cemented his place in Formula 1 though, Lando. Daniel Ricciardo won. Absolutely shocking by the Australian. His high was the Monza win, and his low point was most of the season getting destroyed week in, week out by Lando Norris. Ricciardo is the more experienced man, and he got schooled by Lando Norris. Daniel Ricciardo is an overrated driver who, because he's smiley persona and he likes to joke about. Overrated. Really poor season. Finished 8th in the drivers. Shocking. Won. I say it how I see it. No favouritism on these. Yuki Tsunoda, again, won. Shocking. He had a great Abu Dhabi to finish. But, yeah, his high was probably Abu Dhabi, his best weekend. His low was too many crashes. Very erratic and too many crashes. Yuki Tsunoda has the speed, but he needs to cut out the mistakes. And he was quite lucky to keep his drive. Pierre Gasly, 9. His high, consistency. His low, Imola, where he had the pace and he had to retire. Finished 9th in the drivers. He deserves a better team, does Pierre Gasly. He's proven himself time and time again. So consistent. Hammered Yuki Tsunoda. Great season. Esteban Ocon, 8. His high was the Hungary win. His low point was sometimes a bit erratic and off the pace. Just like, he's so quick and then all of a sudden he'd be really off the pace. I mean, he won the quali battle over Alonso 12-10. And he held his own against a double world champion. Finished 11th in the drivers. Will always be remembered for his win at Hungary, where he drove like a champion. Fernando Alonso, 8. His high was Qatar, where he finished on the podium. And his low, the race after, was Saudi. He was so far off the pace. A solid return. Class is permanent. And Fernando Alonso finished 10th in the drivers. Sebastian Vettel, 5. Up and down season for Seb. His high was Baku with a P2 and Hungary, but later disqualified. His low point was Turkey, where for some unknown reason he decided to gamble on tyres on a wet track. First season, up and down. Some mistakes, some good drives. When Sebastian joined Aston, he expected them to be a lot better, a lot more pace. He beat Lance Stroll, but you would expect him to do that. Lance Stroll, 5. His high was Qatar with a very solid P6. His low point was Brazil. Improved. People used to call him a paid driver. I think he's improved and he's proved himself in Formula 1. George Russell, 8. His high was qualifying at Spa. Also a P3 at Russia. His low point was Imola, the big crash with Valtteri Bottas. He will be a Mercedes driver in 22. And great season by George. Beat Latifi, outperforms the car, and regularly gets into Q2. A great season for George. Nicholas Latifi, 1. His high was Hungary, finally scoring points. His low is he's simply not good enough at this level, and he cost Lewis Hamilton the World Championship. Very lucky to keep his drive. Antonio Giovinazzi, 5. His high was qualifying, where he destroyed Kimi on a regular basis. His low was probably losing his drive. Giovinazzi will go to Formula E. And yeah, qualifying a big strength, races a weakness for Giovinazzi. Hopefully that will not be his last race in F1. Kimi Raikkonen, 5. His high was Mexico, his low was qualifying. An icon, a legend, and he calls it a day on his Formula 1 career. He had poor qualifying throughout the year, but his races were a lot better. Scored 10 points. Nikita Mazepin won. His high was his overtake on Mick Schumacher at Brazil, where Schumacher was squeezing him. His low was finishing last every weekend, beaten by Mick comfortably. A tough first season for Mazepin, but yeah, he will be hoping for a better 2022. And he has to start beating Mick. Mick Schumacher, 8. I give him 8. I think his high beating Mazepin every weekend. He's done the best job he can in a bad car. His low was crashing under the safety car at Imola. I mean, that's all Mick can do is beat his teammate. He did it with ease, so I give him 8. I think he had a solid rookie campaign. So let me check we got everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there we have it. 2021 season ratings. All 20 drivers covered as we rate them out of 10 for their season. And we've marked them. We've give a high, we've give a low, and we've give a detailed explanation of that mark. So yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I gave Max and Lewis a 10. They gave us one of the best seasons we can remember, so that's fair. Carlos Sainz also got a 10. I think his first season at Ferrari is sensational to finish best of the rest in the championship. I mean, Mercedes Red Bull way ahead. He finishes 5th. That's the best he can do. Couple of ones in there, Mazepin, Latifi, Tsunoda and Ricciardo. All shocking. Yeah. Comment down below. We'll always reply. And keep your eyes pinned on the channel, as next, in a few days, will be season awards. And we will we'll get nicely. Season awards is an annual thing we do on the channel. We'll get a nice shirt on for season awards. We'll look the part. Adios.